afternoon, everybody. It's the John Ross Show. We're going to have a special guest today, Democratic candidate for sheriff, Amy Johnson. She's going to be with us in a moment here. And it's a whole 62 degrees out there. Woo-wee! So that's pretty good. And I want to say a couple other things. For all you fans of basketball in high school, it's tonight is some big games. I talked to my friend Coach Roberts. He's going to be at the Batavia Wheaton Warrenville game, Wheaton Warrenville South. That's a big game. And Batavia's, according to the Sun Times, is favored to win that Bartlett sectional. And then at West Aurora, it's West Aurora versus Bennett. Ooh, the top team in the state. Let's see if West, that'll be an upset if that happens. But anyway, things can happen. So those are a couple of things happening. So I'm happy to have candidate Johnson with me. I had the other Democratic candidate, Salvador Rodriguez, with me a few weeks ago. So now we're going to have we're going to just discuss a few things about the election and some issues there. And I'm going to take down these things here and a nice picture of Amy. And we're going to bring Amy up, a real live Amy here. She's coming up in a second. There's the real live Amy. And she's with us now. Good to have you with us, Amy. What's your are you called the undersheriff or what's your title there with the sheriff's department at the current situation?
Well, thank you very much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here. And yeah, it is the undersheriff, or better well known deputy chief. So second in command. So you have the sheriff, and it is the undersheriff. So again, second in command, but it's just a fancier title.
Okay. You're under the sheriff, under somebody. Under somebody. So why don't you give us a little about your background and how you got into policing in the sheriff situation, and we'll talk about some other things. But just give us a little background on how you got into the policing work and your schooling and other things. I think she pre-told me she's got some Batavia roots in her. Okay, that's good. Well, anyway, tell us more about your background.
Yeah, so my background, I was born in Geneva. I was raised in Batavia. So, yes, I am a partial Bulldog, also, as I've heard you with the basketball. So, I went to Alice Gustafson for my grade school. I went to Batavia Middle School. I was the first sixth grade class to go through, now known as Rotolo Middle School. Fantastic. I now work with some people I've actually been to middle school with. So, that's a circle moment for me. My high school was then Rosary High School. So I know public and private schooling, which has been fantastic. After Rosary High School, I went to Illinois State University. And that's kind of where that journey started with not only criminal justice, but kind of how I ended up with Kane County Sheriff's Office. I wanted to do international business and insurance, as following in my footsteps as my dad, and also teaching, because my mom was a teacher. And I took classes. It just was not as interesting for me to go that route. And I had to do a whole bunch of classes for criminal justice, and it clicked. And I absolutely loved it. And it was more of a hobby than taking classes. So in order to graduate, I had to do a 3-month internship. Kane County Sheriff's Office was about 5 minutes away from my parents' house at that time. And the first call for service that I went to was, unfortunately, a domestic violence where it was just verbal, so people talking. And the individual I was with mentored me, showed me around, and it just clicked with me. My uncle was Aurora Police and had always been gone each time, and we knew the stressful hours that he was doing, but we always thanked him for what he was doing. And it just clicked with us that this is exactly what I want to do, and my calling was right there. So in order to go there, I became, actually after that, an evidence custodian, which is just civilian, but I took care of all the evidence. And that was where my passion first started also for crime scene. So in playing soccer and being competitive in basketball, I have one other sibling who's 2 years younger than me. My parents now reside in North Aurora, but I've been a lifelong Kane County member. And then the full circle moment is, yes, this is what I was born and raised for. I just didn't realize it yet. And it just took Illinois State University and the sheriff's office, my internship, to realize, hey, this is your potential. And now, almost 23 years later, as second in command, it's been full circle and I've been very privileged.
That's very interesting. And so I want to ask you the classic question: why are you running?
And you can see my background because, of course, everybody asks, okay, why are you doing this? Why are you running? You could retire at any point. You could teach, because I do teach at Aurora University and St. Xavier. I'm running because I've seen Sheriff Ramsey, I've seen Sheriff Perez, I've seen Sheriff Kramer, and now Sheriff Hain go through and change, literally change, whether good or bad, also the entire entity of the Kane County dynamic and the community. I'm running in order to go through and just change lives with every individual and community. I want to go through and just, it's not about politics right now. It's about community service. It's about accountability and making sure our justice system functions properly and fairly. Absolutely. And modernized. We want to make sure that each and every time for the Kane County Sheriff's Office, in starting where we were to where we're at now, that we're not only held accountable, but we're also modernizing what we're doing and it's grounded in functionality. So that's why I'm running, because I've had so many privileged services. So patrol, intern, field training officer, detective, major crime supervisor, chief of staff, all of these wonderful things. And that's just naming a few, that this is a real opportunity for me to take the sheriff's office to that next step and really deliver what Kane County needs for our community.
Thank you for that. What do you think are the top issues facing our county, Kane County? I looked that up again. I knew we were like 500,000, and some estimates have us at 528,000. And I know most of the county is urban, but we have maybe 5%, or maybe it's a little more. Let's just say it's 10% rural. But what are your top issues for our county? What would you say they are for this office?
So for this office, I break it down into three, where no matter which office that you're going to do, whether it's the coroner's office, the state's attorney's office, any other Kane County entity, it's always going to be, we want to be fiscally responsible, because we're dealing with not only just one budget, you are actually dealing with three. That's all lumped together. We're dealing with corrections, you're dealing with court security, and you're dealing with public safety. So we want to make sure that when our community asks, okay, how are you spending our money? I'm going to be fiscally responsible, and we're going to have sustainable funding. We're going to go through grants. We're going to go through training, technology, with our sustaining fund of, funding moving back and forth. There's also that personnel support. We want to make sure that, you said, for our population, we are actually growing. I know others have said, well, no, we're actually decreasing. For our population, we're actually growing because people want to be in Kane County. We actually have to grow with how our population is growing. We can't just stand at 92 deputies because that's what our county board has offered us at. No fault of theirs. It's just what we had a contractual obligation for at whatever point with the past chairwoman. And again, nobody's fault for our county board. We were just at 92. So again, we're staying at 92 for almost 20 plus years. We need to grow where we're allocated for our funding, especially rural and in our populated areas. And we need that resource allocation to move with that. And last but not least, we need that community engagement. We already have that, but we need to step up. We just need to step up because we want to hear from adults and also that younger generation of, what do you see the sheriff's office doing for your communities? We come into your communities, but we leave after the problem potentially is solved, or, okay, we'll come back to help solve the problem again. We want that diverse, and we want that back and forth relationship to flourish more than just when your problem comes in. Same thing with mental health. I know that's a huge situation right now, and we're seeing it about 43% within our jails. How can we help mental health with our social workers, with our diversion programs, with the state's attorney? What can we pair to assist? So those are my top three. I know it's lumped more than that, but I put that together as a top three priority guideline for when I'm running and talking.
I think I heard this. I don't want to. About the mental health, do we have mental health experts in the jail, or is right now or not? I heard another story from another source. So
Yes.
what's the story there?
So the story, and that's where great question, because we want to make sure I'm building my campaign on factual information, and I would love people to ask me before just random information is given. We actually do have mental health within our jail. We always want to build upon what we already have and elevate that standard. We absolutely have a wonderful mental health team and doctors on call. We have telehealth also. So keep in mind, 24/7, we have to run a 24/7 facility. Whether that doctor is there or not, that's where the telehealth comes in. Would we love to see more mental health doctors? Absolutely. Would we love to see other programs elevated with it, Lighthouse or other mental health? Yes. And that's what my platform is, where we would love to see that moving forward. Our social workers also are partnering with mental health, whether the Ecker Center, NAMI, or all of these other things to bring and bridge that gap for mental health. So it's not stigmatized, it's more of that conversation, especially in our jail. And for those that are released, here's those programs that you can continue on and keep in mind, so we don't have to keep tracking where you're at, or you just don't feel lost. So we give you almost that template upon your release, that here's that guiding light that you can go through. So that's the factual information that we have.
Okay. Is the I'll get off to this. I didn't realize this when I had our other guests. I didn't think about this. Oh yeah, you guys run the jail. So you keep seeing the squad cars out there, but you don't think about. I mean, most people don't think about the jail, and maybe that's good they don't in a way. But is the status of the jail inmates? Is it down, up, or what? What would you say on that in the last years? Because I know we had the reforms on the bail thing, and everybody was anyway. Just how's the status there?
So when we had the first issuance of the Safety Act, everybody was up in arms that, oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen. It's going to be overpopulated, or we're not going to have enough. So it was just the spectrum and swinging both left and right. Same thing when COVID hit. Also, prior to that, it was the jails, everything, was taken out. So we were actually below our designated population. And slowly and surely, unfortunately, it did fill up again. So we are actually at a higher standard right now. We are about, and please keep in mind, this is electric home monitoring also. Within our facility, just off the top of my head, around 320 to 335 right
Okay.
now. And again, I'm putting that with electric home monitoring, which is a little bit higher than what we've been tracking. Again, that doesn't have to do with, oh my gosh, crime is rampant in Kane County. Absolutely not.
Okay, well, we'll be right back here. We had a little glitch here, folks. She'll be right back with us here. So we'll just hold it here a minute, and Amy will be with us. She's back now. We'll have her back in 1 second here. Amy, you back? Okay, I gotta get you up on the screen now. We'll have Amy back on the screen here in a minute. Gotta get her. We'll have her 1 second here. She's back. Okay.
And we
You're
love
back.
technology. Yes, we love technology, but
I
of
don't
course,
know. We were talking about this, what end this is coming from, but we'll just move on. So the jail, okay, and then there's actually, my understanding, there's more correction guards than there are deputy sheriffs out there, right?
yes, we are allotted 114, and that's just because of our population and different pods that we have, which we call pods, and just the population. We can actually house up to 600 at that
Oh,
point, hence the
really?
reason why we have 114. Right now, I previously quoted that we had 110, but with retirees going through, which I didn't have before, we're at about 108.
Okay. Okay. Well, and then there's the court situation too. You have what we call they call them bailiffs. So I don't know what's your terminology there for court monitoring.
They're court security
Court,
officers.
yeah. So you have that too as part of your budget. So another topic that's been out there that I know because our county is about a third Hispanic and other minorities is the immigration situation with ICE. And some would say, I don't know how the status right now of ICE in the area. It's probably a little less than it was a few months ago, but that could change real soon here again. So, what's your thought about the sheriff's office and the jail and the jail with ICE?
Well, on that one too, we are standing firm on that because a lot of questions were asked about, okay, where are you guys at? We stand with all the other sheriffs too. The Illinois Trust Act, it establishes clear boundaries on what we can do between federal, civil, immigration enforcement. That is not where we're at. And we want to continue the strength and community in preserving trust 100%. We are there to protect citizens. One, and that's exactly maintaining public safety and preserving that trust that we have. It's our responsibility, and it's not to set immigration policy. It is our responsibility to maintain all of the other laws that we have and go through. It keeps our courts, the communications, and communities safe 100%. That is what we're there for. We are there to act accordingly within Kane County, not enforce what they think we're there to enforce, which, nope, not federal immigration, absolutely not. So for us, we want to make sure our communities are safe. We have nothing to do with that, no enforcement to establish that. And we want to make sure those boundaries are very clear.
And the other related to that is the jail. How does would ICE have to have a warrant, a judicial warrant, to get somebody out of your jail?
Yes. So there's been that talk where, okay, what do they need? What do they not need? And they would come with a warrant. And then usually with that one, that goes straight to our state's attorney's office. We have nothing to do with that based on we want to maintain that goal of preserving our trust.
Attorney would look
And our
at it
state's
to
attorney
see if
would review that.
it's a warrant or a, I don't know what they call the other warrants, but they're ICE warrant or whatever. Yeah, and so it's been passed by a magistrate judge to do this.
Yeah, detainer. Yeah. So our state's attorney's office reviews every single one and shows the validity of it or not. And for the most part,
Okay,
they are the ones then that say, nope, they will not be handed over, and we are staying firm on this trust act.
okay, that's good because I read something in the Sun Times. No, not Sun Times. WTTW had a report on this, and I just wanted to bring that. That maybe there was some that slipped through earlier, but I don't know how that was. But is that true or not? Do you think you had some slippage there of some detainees that were? How was that? What did you say
No, if
about?
it was reported with the attorney general's office that said we were not in compliance, that's false information. And that was reviewed by our state's attorney's office. And there was a press release also written by our state's
Okay,
attorney that was published. So that might be what you're referencing that said we were
yeah,
100% in
the
compliance.
article didn't go. Yeah, no, they didn't go into what the state's attorney said.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that fact. So
Yeah, and it's issued. I think it is on our Facebook page, the King County Sheriff's Facebook page, the state's attorney's Facebook page, in which she did a in-depth investigation, which we were happy to turn over because we know we're in compliance. We always want to make sure that. And her conclusion was 100% with all the documentation that we provided to her. We were in compliance, and there was no transfer into ICE custody whatsoever based on that information, and we stand clear on that.
so that, but those type of things, those type of warrants would go through the state's attorney. You're saying?
Yes, and we've made it very clear also that we are not handing anybody over based on that, and the state's attorney's office would be in a thorough review of every single detainer that comes through with that.
Okay. So we've talked about manpower and other things, and it's needed to have good manpower. Oh, woman power. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I don't. I was just thinking about that. That's a debate in a lot of places today. Uh, but the Democratic Party has been pretty good with women, and sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. But we have qualified individuals like you there, so that's out there. So what maybe we'll sort of pull this together here. What do you think are some of the the future, and what other things would you like to sort of hit the trail here with? What something that you want to say that's on your mind about this job opportunity or this type of approach to help the community as being a sheriff? What else do you want to say?
Well, I just want to just say thank you for everybody who's already supported and just seen my vision and continued to just move forward with us. This has been absolutely fantastic, and I wouldn't have changed anything for anything. My family has been fantastic also, been sticking with me through all of this. But with that being said, one of the things that is on the horizon too is okay, what would we change? I wouldn't say necessarily change. What would we add for an addition? We're working on a recovery pod for the women. That was something that we just didn't have fruition on because there just wasn't enough. And I would
Recovery,
love to
what
say
was
there
that?
wasn't enough.
What was that, Amy? Recovery, what?
Recovery pod. So we
Oh,
have one,
okay, go
and
on. Okay.
recovery pod for the corrections. We have one for the males, and it's done by Lighthouse, who's fantastic, Nate Latham, but we've never had one for the females. And we actually have participation now by potentially DeKalb County and McHenry County to assist. Oh my gosh,
Oh, come
my
on now. You
cat.
have a
That is
you
an
said a
awesome
voter
moment, you guys.
coming by?
That was awesome. That was my cat.
Of course.
So, yes, blooper
Yeah, I
that.
hit
That
everything
is
on my
fantastic.
show.
Does
All
your other candidate
right.
do
I
that?
had a
No,
cat. You're a cat
that was
lady.
not.
Okay, go on.
Okay, yeah,
Go.
sorry. I've got two cats also, and he's probably upset that I didn't mention that. So there you go. He's awesome. Okay. So Recovery Pod, 100% for women. So DeKalb County and McHenry County would partner with us, and we would go back and forth to offer these services. So that would be something 100% that we've never offered before, and we're actually looking forward to doing that because that gives a leg up again for somebody that needs just hey mental health, a leg up again. A drug interdiction, something along those lines that they've never had before. Potentially, again, partnering with the state's attorney's office with human trafficking also, were they victims of that and what is their core response? So I'm super excited with that because it's going to be factual information that we're having and not just the buzzwords of, okay, this is what it is. No, we're going to follow through with it.
So that's some of the exciting things that you're thinking about. I'm going to let me see. Just one. I got to do this to everybody out there that they should realize that. Let me see. Where is this here? Here it is. Yes. I want to get everybody to think about to vote.
Yeah.
It's on the 17th. You can do in person early voting or by mail. And I'm an old guy. I'm doing mail. So no, I sort of like that. I don't know why. I get to look at the ballot earlier, and it's a sort of interesting way to do it. But get out there and vote. This is in the Democratic primary for sheriff. We have two candidates there, Salvador Rodriguez and our friend here, Amy Johnson. So we have a little battle here. I hope it's a good battle in a good
Yeah.
way, and we're going to make our county better, and that's what we're trying to do. And I'd really thank Amy for coming by and sharing and dropping off her cat to us too. That was a very exciting. I haven't had that before in my podcast. We have maybe I've had a dog in the background, but I haven't had a cat. I know that.
You're
So
welcome. This was great. Yes.
yeah, so I thank you for coming by. Monday we're going to talk with Reverend Vincent Gaddis about Jesse Jackson and Black History Month, which is just finishing up. We sort of had a glitch on our software. Like I mentioned, we had some software glitches a few days ago. But we're back on fire here. And I thank Amy for coming by and visiting with us. So Monday we'll have Dr. Gaddis, and we got some people lined up for the rest of the week too. And hope this can get around and show people this candidate, Amy Johnson, and to her effort to be Kane County Sheriff. And of course, whoever wins this primary's got to beat that Republican candidate. So that's another thing. But I'll give you my little hunch. The Democrats got an upper hand in Kane County. So I'll say that. So we'll see what happens here. So thank you, Amy, for coming by and visiting, and thank your cat for being on our show. And we thank you for this day. Thank you, Amy. So we'll
Thank
sign
you.
off for now. God bless everybody. Bye bye now. Bye bye. Bye bye.